most universities receive a lot of assistance from the federal and state governments that they're a part of, and so because of that, that's why Title IX can exist.
Right.
Is because they're saying, you're spending money from the federal and state governments. We can regulate how you award some of that scholarship money, and obviously now a lot of the money for athletic programs is coming from boosters and ticket sales and things of that nature. But they just wanted to even the playing field and create scholarships for women's athletics as well as men's.
Right, and I mean, Pat, which some still may argue today, it's still not level.
Oh.
That we still have a lot of work to do.
Oh.
Which I agree. We do, especially, man, the podcast I did on women's soccer, those numbers are astounding.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Even in the workforce, it's not level.
No. I mean, I am still making 80, it depends on the study you read, between 78 and 85 cents of, 85% of what a male in my same, in my same level makes. And it's harder to get a promotion.
Yeah.
I know that people say a lot, you have to do twice the work for half the credit. I feel like I've definitely experienced that in my life.
And that's just a perfect example, and I appreciate you sharing that story with us. Title IX was created to level out the playing field. But to this day, there's still a big-ass hill on that field.
Oh, there is. There's no doubt about that.
I don't know when we will ever be able to climb that hill and level it out. But as of today, as we speak, and I mean, you can look at the presidential race. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is the forefront. We have a female candidate running against a male candidate. I cannot wait to see what the results are. Now, I know that...
Ooh, I think that the campaign is going to get really ugly.
Oh, it's going to get hideous. But you're going to have a lot of Americans going out to vote for Trump just because he's a man.
Oh, that's definitely true.
And it has nothing to do with him wanting to kick all the Muslims out of the United States or building this phantom wall that I don't know who the hell he's going to get to build other than Mexicans, but he wants them out of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he says all they do is rape children and women, and I don't want to get too far off on a tangent, but it's going to be some interesting situations coming up this election year by having a female run against a male.
Yes. And I don't want anyone to think like I don't hate white men. I'm married to a white man who I love very much, but white men dominate, and I feel like Donald Trump really represents like what white men do when they feel like somebody else is taking over, is they just pitch a little tantrum.
It's going to be interesting, and I feel like, but the fact that she's able to run for president has something to do with Title IX.
Oh, I think
because without it,
true.
She wouldn't have no chance. She wouldn't even got nowhere near this far.
No, I think that's definitely true.
So Title IX does have its benefits, but we, as I mentioned before, we have a long way to go as a society, with accepting the fact that women, and this is a perfect example, women can do a good enough job, if not better, than the men.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just use me as an example. When I ran my own store, I only hired women to do stock. Now, I know some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, that's pretty damn sexist. Why you got those women working so hard? No. To me, women are naturally more organized. When I had a male stocker, my stock room looked like crap. Shoes were out of order. Paperwork was never done. But when I had a female that ran up my stock, everything was perfect. Everything was readable. I knew where everything was. And if I didn't know, she knew. They're just naturally the better organizer. And I felt like with that natural instinct in women, why shouldn't they have equal opportunity as the men? Pat Summitt could be considered the greatest college coach ever. But you're going to have many argue the fact that John Wooden is the greatest ever. And then you have Gino coming behind.
True. That's true.
It's not going to have absolutely nothing to do with wins and losses. It's the fact that John Wooden is a man, Pat Summitt was a woman.
And you know, Pat Summitt, UT offered Pat Summitt the head coaching men's job twice.
They did?
One in 1997 and once in 2001. She turned them down both times because she was happy where she was.
And I don't blame her not one bit. I
Oh,
would have
no.
turned them down too, because Tennessee men are garbage.
It's true.
And they get into sexual allegations. Peyton Manning. Hope you're listening, Peyton.
I'm also a fellow Peyton Manning hater, so I'll second that.
Yeah, I don't have any beef with Peyton. I'm just saying, that situation. Another example of Title IX and not level playing fields. The Peyton Manning situation.
Yes,
Where
no,
he's
that's
sexually
true.
harassing women, but the whole state of Tennessee swept it right underneath the rug and pretty much told her to shut her mouth and keep it moving.
Yes. I mean, I
And
think
that's
that,
documented. I'm not making this up. This is not my opinion. This is what actually happened.
I think that happens a lot when I went to Clemson my freshman year of college, and when I went there, and they played Florida State, a bunch of people made fun of somebody on the Florida State team whose name I can't remember, Peter Warwick, because he had been caught shoplifting. And I remember distinctly that my RA yelled at a bunch of people for doing that because they said someone in the Clemson team was convicted of rape. And you're going to make fun of this guy because he got caught shoplifting? That's not as big of a deal.
Swept completely under the rug. And if
Yep.
you guys are not familiar with the Peyton Manning situation, well, I just happened to do a podcast on it. So you can go back through the archives, find the Peyton Manning podcast, and that's broken down bit by bit of the whole sex scandal that he had going on at the University of Tennessee. But back to the brighter spot of UT, Patricia Summitt. What did I leave off? Oh, well, basically, to me, she made the University of Tennessee what it is today. She helped make women's basketball more credible by pushing for more TV time. So when I was growing up, the only women's basketball I saw on TV was the University of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any other schools. But she literally turned Lady Vols into a brand.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Lady Vols that's a household name, all because of Pat Summitt. She made it cool to watch and be a fan of women's sports.
Definitely.
The WNBA, mark my word, would not be here today if it wasn't for Pat Summitt.
Well, and especially because she was recruiting and producing such great women's players. You know, there wasn't a really good recruiting system in place in the 1970s when she became a head coach. And she was the one who decided that she was going to do it like the men's coaches do and have scouts and have people go in to look for really talented women's basketball players.
Trendsetter.
And being able to offer them scholarships as well to college so they would come and play basketball.
Think about it. One of the greatest women to ever come through Tennessee, Holdscar, she's from New York.
Yep,
That's nowhere near Tennessee. But she recruited, and she got her.
absolutely.
And I mean, just from like marketing, like in 1982, there was no NCAA tournament for women at all. Pat Summitt was the one that led the efforts to get one. And now you have ESPN paying over $500 million, just to televise it. Who
Yeah.
started that all? Pat.
Revolutionary.
You even got presidents filling out women brackets on ESPN right now.
Yeah.
That would have never happened years ago if it wasn't for her
Well,
pushing the issue.
especially now because there was no NCAA tournament.
Exactly. There wasn't no tournament to fill a
Fill
bracket out
brackets
for.
No, exactly.
She helped revolutionize the game of women's basketball. She came from an era and this is laughable, and I can't even believe this when I read it. They played 6-on-6 basketball for girls.
Yeah, and there was a separate offense and defense team because they played half. They played half courts.
Yeah, it's how did that go? The rules of 6-on-6 basketball
Okay.
went as follow, and what's also laughable before I break in the rules, in 1990, there were still 2 freaking states that played this for girls basketball: Oklahoma and Iowa.
I didn't realize
How is that possible? 1990, you still playing 6-on-6? The game hasn't revolutionized by the 90s. I mean, really?
Do people in Oklahoma and Iowa not watch television?
Yeah. Do you? Let me shut up. And I remember she could put a complete stop to it in Tennessee because she basically told them, like, if you don't cut this crap out, I won't sign another freaking player out of Tennessee. So that's when the state of Tennessee stopped it. But for 6-on-6 girls basketball, if you guys are not familiar, it's pretty much 3 guards from one team that would defend 3 forwards from the other. Pretty much from end to end. Only forwards could shoot, I believe. Yeah, only the forward could shoot. And since no one could cross the half-court line, you can only dribble the ball twice. And you couldn't strip the ball from the shooters outside of the lane. Do we have any... I looked on YouTube. I need to see footage of this 6-on-6 basketball.
Same here. Obviously, we need to, go to the Oklahoma Library Archives.
Yeah, I need to go. We need to go to Oklahoma. Maybe somebody should call Harrison Build-A-Bear Barnes, since he's from Iowa, and see exactly what is this 6-on-6 that they speak of. Like, what is that? And why was it still going on in the 1990s?
I don't know.
I can't understand it.
It seems like the least exciting thing to watch.
What is this? I mean,
so you
really?
can't steal the ball from anyone.
Yeah, you can't steal the ball. If you're a point guard, you're not shooting. All you can do is pass.
Yeah.
So you average 85 assists and 0 points, I'm assuming.
Do you think we can get the NBA to do, during the All-Star game, do you think they can play 6-on-6 rules?
I say let's bring it back. That's a good idea for the All-Star game. I would love to see Derrick Rose take 2 dribbles and pass, because I don't think he ever did that a day in his life.
I think there might be a lot of violators for that rule.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of traveling, which I think, you know what? I think they take 2 dribbles in the NBA anyway.
Well, that's true. They're just doing that. Those gazelle
they're just taking these long strides. LeBron James. Yeah, if you guys don't know by now, I'm going to get on LeBron every single episode. I'm going to find some way to weasel his name into my podcast until it's over. I will stop once I get on the radio. If I ever get to ESPN or Fox Sports or anywhere, I promise you guys I will stop bashing LeBron.
I don't think that's true.
Until then, there will be a weekly bashing. Mock my word. He will get slithered into every single podcast I have. I will figure out a way to slide him in. You know what? 6-on-6 probably would have benefited LeBron. Maybe he could have improved his jump shot.
It's true. And he says
nobody's going to
to
strip
pass.
him, so he doesn't have to worry about somebody fouling him and cry all the time. And anyways. So when the university built the new arena for the ladies' Vols, it was pretty much filling the seats. Pat was selling out game after game. Between 99 and the year of 2005, she drew the bigger ticket sales. She was the draw for the University of Tennessee. Pretty much, and what that did was that showed other universities that, hey, this women's basketball might be profitable.
Yes.
Maybe we should look into that. She also elevated pretty much how coaches were getting paid. We mentioned before she was only making $250 a month. Before she left the game, Pat was getting paid $1.5 million. That's a long way from $8,900 a year.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So these coaches should pretty much thank Pat Summitt for their paychecks, because she improved the pay scale of women's basketball.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, just touching all of that, what do you, as a long-lasting impact, because, I mean, she didn't impact the way the game is played.
Mm-hmm.